Time for game number 2. Or is it? That's the real question. And I'm here to provide all the answers with my boy Juvie and my boy Skiminator over on the far right of screen. Now, gentlemen, tell me, do you like some memes?
Love me some memes, mate.
Do you love some content?
Even more so.
Do you love breakfast?
Not so much.
That's all right. You don't really need to love breakfast because these memes we have actually have nothing to do with breakfast, although we do have one here from your boy Dar, and we asked for an explanation on what's been going on, and he's bloody given us one as well. Look at this. Do you have any of those memes, mate? Get in early to one-up Mac Mate before LCO tonight. Your day, you got any more of those memes? Tad busy with life lately, so memes have been lacking, but should be back to regularly scheduled memes as of next week. So it's always great to hear that Dar is making his life go damn well. Always life first before a little bit of LCO content, and that's understandable. Although,
is it?
I'm questioning that one.
I put this before my life, so I would expect the same, really, if I'm being completely honest.
Okay. Well, something I need to be honest about is we have not just one meme, but two. Let's have a look at what we've got for number 2 here. It's Lorenzo the Kind. It looks like it's a mammoth meme, I'd say. No idea if there were mammoths in Frozen, but in my head, this joke makes sense. I still have faith. Mammoth_os. Mammoth? I can't even... Pronunciation's really hard, Talking words, terrible. You got this. #LCO. Remember that song, Defying Gravity? That's going to be us today. Wrong musical genius.
I like it.
I'll be honest. I think sometimes I'm not smart enough to understand the memes. Can I be... No, I don't know. I don't know the song. That's what I'm saying. Like, It's not that the meme's bad. It's that...
You're uncultured like me. I didn't get it either. But now...
okay. Fantastic. Because I thought I was the only one and I got scared.
We had Nat explaining what it was in areas. So someone at least understood what was happening. Thank you, Lorenzo, for that one. I'm an uncultured swine, and that's probably why I love a little bit of bacon. Any time of the day, any day of the week.
Overrated. Bacon's overrated.
Overrated?
Yeah.
I don't know many people that rate it that highly, honestly. What do you mean?
Love me some bacon, mate.
What about turkey bacon, huh?
Anything bacon. Candy bacon, even.
Oh, candy bacon? Oh, okay. Nat thinks bacon pancakes are good. I've never had them. I'm not a big pancake guy,
American pancakes?
Honestly. However, look, someone that needs to be eaten is legacy and peace. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know which way we'd serve them. But at least legacy, look, they're trees. You can use them to make fire. So I guess they're coming in charred juice.
I mean, the best way to describe legacy and how they like how we would serve them up on a dish would be that you don't know what you're going to get. You're going in blindfolded, and you're going in for a taste test, and what Sybil and Incursio is going to turn up, because when they're on, they're on. And I mean, that's why they've picked up a lot of the wins that they have. But unfortunately, when they're off, might be a little bit raw inside. So Legacy just needs to be firing on all cylinders today, right? There's going to be no excuses. Starwood and Emalg and Winter, I think, have been pretty consistent performers for the most part. So, yeah, it's going to have to be a big team performance. And like I said, if Sybil and Incursio are on, like, they're one of the best in the 2v2 in the league. So they just need to find kind of, I guess, their footing in the early game.
Yeah, I think it needs to be said as well, because they are definitely not chickens. Being undercooked, we're not going to be getting salmonella. They always go hard. They play to win. They make it happen in jungle and mid.
Medium rare.
Medium rare? Yeah?
On a steak, not
a
on a
little bit of blood
chicken.
on the inside.
Well, not on a chicken, probably not.
Getting it going, right? Now, let's talk fine cuisines and let's talk peace and why they've been cooked in a good way for half of the season and then cooked in a bad way for half of the season. Skimmy, please take us through the menu for this evening.
Well, I think the problem with Peace is they change their menu every week. The Michelin star comes in, right? He gives it the old review and says, nah, not to my fancy. They change it up the next week, right? They've probably had more changes than there are teams in this entire league, right? It's kind of crazy to say, but this is a team that you'd probably argue is their strongest 5-man at the moment. You look at the glimpses of what we've seen these players do in the past. You look at Baba Pintelli, the success they had on Legacy. Funnily enough, obviously their opponent tonight, we saw how strong Appy was last split in the top lane. And Vilac and Anadoric seems to be like the common theme, not only between us as casters, but between the players as well, saying this is the strongest bot lane. So I think if they've had a really strong week of practice, then this could be the week for them to take Legacy out of the equation and still be, 1 foot in the door for playoffs.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see this lineup because, again, as you mentioned, another different one. Another different one in terms of talent that we can bring to the desk is Nat, so let's bring her in. Hey Nat, how you doing? Different one?
Good, good. I do want to just quickly circle back to that meme. It was really good. I want to give it due credit where it was. If no one knew, Defying Gravity is from Wicked, a musical, which is why Lorenzo referenced Frozen. And if you didn't know, the mammoths were there. And the song is called Defying Gravity.
Well, there you have it. Is that the one where they're like, Defying Gravity?
Yeah,
I've heard the song. Didn't know it was part of a musical. Anyway, I heard you've got a couple of players down on the sidelines again. Who are they?
I do have Babip and Incursio joining me. Thank you both so much, Incursio. I want to start asking you some questions first. You guys have the head-to-head when it comes to Peace, and I want to know if that's a factor that plays into your game tonight, and just how hungry you guys are for the win.
Sure, we're a little bit more tense for that win today, but I reckon we're going to play the same way we normally do, and we're pretty confident we can pull out the win.
What sort of prep has been going into not only this game, but the week as a whole for you guys?
Week as a whole, I reckon we've been preparing a lot more than usual. We've been playing a lot of scrims. I've been playing a lot of solo queue. I don't know about my boys, probably have, but yeah. So we've been practicing a lot, like scrims wise, yeah.
What do you think is going to be an advantage that you might have seen you guys have in scrims that you're going to bring in tonight's game?
An advantage, probably. We have been looking a lot more consistent in our scrims, I think. Yeah, like a lot of our plays have been just being done differently. I think we've been playing really aggressive in the past, but maybe we think about that a little bit more in some of our plays today.
I'm looking forward to it. Now, Babip, over on the side of Peace, we see you coming back onto the roster, so another roster change for you guys. I want to know how the energy is down in the team with those changes.
Well, yeah, this iteration of Peace is hopefully closing into our final form. The vibes have been pretty good. This week of scrims has been like probably the best we've had, I don't know, I would say since the start of the year, of the split. So pretty confident in this coming into today and tomorrow's match.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. You say scrims are going a little bit better. I guess from that, what do you think is your advantage tonight against Legacy?
Our advantage is just I feel like we will have better macro, like better team play, better individual players, just all around. I feel like we are a better team, so.
Yeah, and lastly, before I do let you go, we obviously know the importance of tonight's game for both the teams, but walk me a little bit through the mindset for Peace coming into this matchup.
Well, obviously it's a quite tight 4 playoffs between us, Gravitas, and Legacy. So obviously both wins today and tomorrow.
I look forward to seeing the matchup between both of you. Thank you so much for joining me, and good luck tonight.
Thanks,
Thank you.
out.
Good to hear that Peace have every advantage possible in terms of the macro-micro team play. But what they're forgetting is they may not have the chemistry or the reps as that roster. And that's something Legacy may have going for them because they haven't swapped up much this season. There was one time when Why Not slipped into the mix, but then Sybil jumped straight back in as well. Anyway, time for the predictions. Let's see where we think this game's going to go. So far, page numero uno, we got Peace for you, Jubes, and Skimmy. So tell me, Jubes, why?
I think I tend to agree with Babip. I think it's only a matter of time before Peace do find their old form, and I'm just banking on it being now rather than later.
Okay, and what about you, Skimmy?
I think, if they win today, right, there's a possibility of them actually getting secured into playoffs if the results go their way. So I'd imagine a team that were in finals last split has the high skill ceiling to play for that is, adept to stressful situations. They should be able to dig deep when needed.
Okay, now we'll jump over to page 2. Let's check what Nat's gone for. Oh, everyone's gone for Peace. Okay. I thought maybe there'd be someone expecting the dark horse of Legacy to win today, but it seems like no one has. Rusty hitting that 60 bomb. I think he was already on the 60 bomb because he didn't get the last prediction there. But Nat, tell me, why have you gone for Peace as well?
Firstly, I didn't go for Legacy. I'd already put my spicy prediction, I guess, in the last game, so it wasn't going to happen today. It was a tough choice, but it's just one of those things. Every kind of iteration of piece that we see with their roster just kind of seems to get a little bit better and better. And whilst they might not have, I guess, the same experience or like the time together as Legacy have, the players as a whole, I feel, just are more experienced.
Okay, well, I think that definitely makes a bit of sense. It makes a lot of sense, actually. Anyway, if you guys are hungry, exclamation DoorDash in chat. It's dinner time. I'm hungry. I bet you're hungry too. And if you've already eaten, it's time for bloody dessert. Do it. Get it done, because it's time for Champ Select. And I'm going to go eat my dinner now, so I'll see you after the game.
Wonderful. All right. Well, Juice, this really is the biggest game of the night, you'd have to say right now, because this game quite honestly could decide who will qualify, because if Legacy don't win, their playoffs run stops here. If Peace do win, though, bit of lady luck on their side and some other results going their way, and they might just be back into the mix of things.
Well, you'd have to say if Legacy win, they're probably favourites. Them and Gravitas would be favourites to take this one to playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a do or die game for Peace. I know they definitely have you know, other games to play, and they can bank on that if need be. But I mean, if you lose this one, you'd almost be kissing the split goodbye.
You'd certainly be crying, to say the least, as looking at some of the bans. One thing that I was really keen to see would be the direction that Peace would go with their ban phase, because if you actually look at the last time these two teams met, on both occasions it was just Sybil playing the Zinzao and Incursio playing the Sylas, and I think he loves the Sylas because he knows that Peace are going to play these aggressive champions, and he can pretty much have any ultimate he wants at any time. So I like the Zinzao ban straight away.
The 1P Renekton, just blind.
Yeah.
They're just happy. They think that there's no answer. That Lee Sin early pick into the Ziggs. Lee Sin's an interesting one, because, you know, is it something that we're going to see put into the jungle? Is it something that we're going to see mid-top? Like, it selects 3 ways. We've seen less Lee Sin in solo lanes as times go by. If you watch the LCK, it's more or less DRX playing the Lee Sin in a solo lane.
Yep.
Or it's Lee Sin in the jungle. And Ona really does play a good Lee Sin, but, you know, we don't see too much of Lee Sin in the LCO in the jungle.
Well, we've actually not seen a single Lee Sin game from Legacy this split, so very excited to see where that will get flexed to. You'd be quite comfortable to say that anybody on this roster could play it. So got themselves some flexible champions to open up things with, as Peace will go for that Nidalee, much like how strong Only is on the Nidalee. You'd say that Babbitt probably one of, if not his, ultimately best champion in the game.
I would say that Nidalee is Babbitt's best champion ever. Like, he kind of made his name being the Nidalee guy before, you know, everyone else. Like, everyone rises to a certain rank in solo queue or reputation being that guy. And Babbitt was that guy on Nidalee. So it's going to be cool to see. And we've actually seen the Trundle here, Skimmy, the one that we kind of highlighted before broadcast started.
Yeah, we really wanted to see this one because, I mean, kind of what we were mentioning is it could be another flexible pick. In terms of what we've seen from it, we saw it once. Coming out of Sybil, he played a more supportive redemption build, which you were quick to say could have been an Ivan or something else to be a little bit more efficient in, but keeps Peace certainly guessing going to this next rotation of bans.
I mean, the one thing I would say is that you really don't want to have Trundle versus Nidalee, because you get kited really hard, and Nidalee just plays from range, max spears, hits one, she can go in. Otherwise, you're just dancing, and you never really dictate terms, and then you get out-tempoed and outpaced as well. So probably going to see Lee Sin into the jungle. I mean, unless it goes like Lee Sin mid or Lee Sin top, and Trundle support, right, with the Ziggs. I mean, the pillar into the Mega Inferno Bomb is obviously a very viable strategy, and I do like the Trundle into something like the Leona, right, because once you get level 6, you just take your tank stats. So, something that can definitely work, and we're just going to keep an eye on the composition from Legacy. I mean, so far they got flex picks in I guess, every single position.
Yeah, and the triple ban towards Violet, as well as the Tristana ban, which we said at the top of show 2, is another strong pick that, you know, Violet is very adept at. He's played it multiple times, and pretty much any champion that has the agency to not only win in lane, but to be a playmaker come team fights, he seems to thrive on. Let's see where Legacy go with this draft now. What will the cards actually look like when they have to be revealed? If we are going to get ourselves a Yone,
yeah, just blind Yone.
Then Incursio is just laying down the gauntlet.
I wonder if Tally takes Renekton mid here, because Renekton Italy is a very viable 2v2, and if you have them in the middle of your map, then that's your strong point, right? Like, that's your creme de la creme. That's who you're playing through. So there'll be a lot of agency generated between these two picks. So we'll have to keep an eye on how the rest of this draft plays out, but it's definitely a consideration.
Israel locked in now, so might see a bit of deja vu from the game just before, where the supports could be huge in deciding how these little early game skirmishes fare on out. Going to be nice and protected in the bot lane if it is going to be the Israel and the Ziggs. But what will the final pick be from Pace? It is going to be a Jace. We've seen a composition like this played before. It was against Mammoth many moons ago. A lot of poke to deal with and a lot of skill expression to play around.
This game's given us 2 picks of what our key picks were, right? We got the Trundle, and now we've got the Jace. We wanted to see teams prioritizing this Jace, and we wanted to see the teams... So yeah, it is Trundle, Ziggs bot lane. It's going to be Lee Sin in the jungle. That's a very early Lee Sin pick into the jungle. So, you know, into the Nidalee matchup, Lee Sin has a perfectly fine time. You do get out-tempoed again if you don't get stuff done. So Agency is going to be with Sybil to try and do things early. But again, it becomes a game of like who can land their Q first, right? If Lee Sin lands the Q onto Nidalee, closes the gap, not a max range spear, you definitely have the one-shot potential at level 6. But I mean, Babip is so veteran when it comes to these Nidalee matchups. He's going to be able to maneuver around it.
Certainly is, and as you said, you know, it's phenomenal to see that a lot of these new picks are coming out, sort of what we wanted to see, and how they've sort of slotted into the mix here. As Wintero will be that final pick with the Lucian, so he's going to be that lane bully, going to try and get himself a nice lead early on to try and keep this Jace at bay. He's played it a few times already, and you know that he is a very proficient player at flexing through those different roles when required. So pretty explosive between both teams. Do you have a preference between the two champion rosters?
I mean, I would probably rather be playing Pieces draft, just in terms of like ease of execution, in terms of being able to play around relevant power spikes. Like you have very obvious win conditions, and one of that being like, okay, let's think about Legacy for a second. How do they play the game? Very volatile in a mid-jungle 2v2, right? In Cursio's on Yone, that champion needs to trade. Like, it's Yasuo-esque. It has to trade, and in doing your trading into a Renekton, it's a W, it's a stun, point and click into a Nidalee spear, and I imagine Peace are just going to generate a pretty big lead in the early game. But again, I've been wrong before. I mean, I've cast the cursed games before, so if you're a Peace fan, I apologize. If you're a Legacy fan, I apologize as well, but we'll have to see what happens. And I mean, when Lucian top was meta, when Lucian top was like really, really OP a couple seasons ago, the one kind of soft answer for that was the Jace, because you actually have enough 100-0 pressure to make Lucian kind of respect you a little bit. You still get outranged, of course, but I mean, in the all-in, like Lucian's got to always have that in the back of his mind. Itemization as well, like the Eclipse and things of that nature, make it a lot better for the Jace. So again, across the board, in terms of laning phase, like he's going to have a very good time, but if the game makes it to a point in which 2-3 items are being able to be picked up for Legacy, and you're not at a deficit, Legacy probably run away with the game, just in terms of scaling, in terms of what their champions can do.
And would you say that's the concern for this game, is it's going to really come down to who can get a firm grasp in the first 10-15 minutes, otherwise it might feel like a bit of a blowout?
Well, the game should just be Nidalee or Babip and Tally generating pressure through neutral objectives, right? Like, they should have agency towards Dragons. And I'll hold the thought anyway, because I forgot you got Coach's interview.
We do. Let's welcome back Midlord onto the show for the final week of games. Midlord, 2 games left, a must-win game today to keep the playoff streams alive. You've got a tough opponent in order again tomorrow. How's the preparation been this week?
Yeah, it's just give us more pressure, but this can make us become better.
And we've seen, you know, you've grown from strength to strength. We've seen multiple different rosters. Would you say, looking back on the split, it's been a success? I mean, what were some of the biggest challenges compared to split 1?
Like the play styles, like we are hard to play from to back in team fights. It will be okay.
Well, talk about that draft then, because it looks like in certain areas you've got yourselves key advantages. There's some new niche picks that have come out to try and confuse you. Are you happy with your draft? Do you think there's too many problems that Legacy can throw at you?
I don't think so. I think our draft is better than them. Like,
is it just a mid-lord masterclass?
Maybe we have some, top play uncomfortable in early game, but maybe in mid game or late game they can much better in team fights than Lucian.
And on a final note there, before I let you go, Draft Lords, is this the strongest roster of Peace we're going to see?
Yeah, true. That's right.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, mate. Well, let's crack on with it. I wish you boys the best of luck for the dream, keeping it alive, and we'll see how it all plays out.
Sure.
He just hit me with a yeah, true, Juice. I
Yeah, he did. He
what
did.
About, what about confidence from a coach?
I mean, I feel like every time we talk to Midlord, and God bless him, but it's always the strongest roster. It's always the strongest roster.
He's not going to, leak anything to me. He's just going to give the boys the one up.
He's just going to coin flip us a new roster come playoffs time if they qualify, and it's going to be the strongest one, and they're just going to take us to Worlds. I reckon that's the perfect anime arc. But I mean, the one thing I kind of wanted to briefly touch on while you were interviewing was that Appy is not only playing into Illusion lane, which again, it can be fine for the Jace, but you're going to lose it early. He's actually had to leash. Like that is just ultimate Appy bad luck, bro. You're leashing and I'm parting bot side. Because now Sybil, like if Winter does his job, like if Winter is able to get down some harass, like it's diveable on the Jace, but it won't be for a while.
Let's see what they can do. As you mentioned, a big wave from to try and catch right now. I'm very interested about this mid lane matchup for a few reasons. Obviously the fact that Tally's Renekton can shred through the shields off this Yone and how that will influence the thing. As we do know that Tally is very adept at playing this champion wherever he may go, be it mid or top. Was an idea that you threw around during the drafting phase if it was to be done in that fashion, but going to be very curious to see how that plays in a 1v1, but especially when the 2v2s start to come about.
Yeah. But I mean, you're already seeing like the 1v1 play out in the mid lane, right? It's not a big CS lead. Like, well, it's probably not a CS lead at all. But the health, the HP department, the first teleport back to lane, the priority that you don't have, like it's all going to become a problem. Obviously, it doesn't start at 3 minutes, but it bleeds out into what would be scuttle crabs, denial of jungle camps. It's like slow bleeds, right? It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts again. And then like all of a sudden your scaling or whatever that you have to fall back on isn't as relevant.
Well, let's see if they can put themselves in a position of scaling. Interesting note was we were doing some preparation for this game. You actually look at the match history for Peace. In their last 8 games, they've only actually won twice. Those games have been against Mammoth. So not the prettiest picture. Talk about a fall from grace. It's been a tough few weeks, though, for Legacy as well, with back-to-back games against Direwolves, PGG, Chiefs, as well as Order. So teams have certainly run the gauntlet, and they've got to be in the best headspace to close things out here tonight.
As someone who's played in many a gauntlets, whatever happened during the regular split and whatever feelings that you've had up until that point, it doesn't matter anymore. Like the 5th place team, for some reason, gauntlets just flip a script. Like the 5th place team can become the 2nd best team, and it's just a completely different ball game. So the biggest challenge is just making it there, and then you kind of, it's all forgiven and forgotten once you get there. It's like a relief, and then you kind of get a second wind as a team.
Let's see if these teams can find that form when it matters most. Very curious to see how these support players can influence the map. We've seen them certainly in recent weeks really look to come into their own, project their own personality on the game and influence it tenfold. So as we sit here for the meantime, laning phase is well and truly online. Twitch predictions at home. 73% of you believe that the Peace Dream is alive, but for how much longer? As Legacy Sybil rocks on down bot lane, Vart looking to try and deny himself to the turret, and now Aladoric on the retreat. And here's a very tanky Leona. It's going to be much harder to find 2.
I mean, I'd love to get a little bit of a replay to see what happened there on bot side of the map, because we didn't really see how Violet got into a position where he had no arcane shift. He had no utility or abilities to get out of there and Sybil's caught.
What's the Peace punishment? The return around, a flash away, but a flash to follow, and a flash to claim a kill. 1-1 as Babib gets his jungle matchup online.
Yeah, I mean, he's so far ahead now, right? He's going to pick up the dragon, and it was a really good play bot side of the map. I mean, that was just a pure 2v2 kill, but now on the jungle department, where we kind of didn't want to see Legacy fall behind, or we didn't want to see Peace get a lead, they've kind of done that. So what happens here? I mean, the pillar obviously keeps him stuck. He's just dead. I mean, Arcane Shift has to be on cooldown, like from a previous exchange. But I mean, the power of the Trundle, right? Even into the Ezreal was able to really lock Ezreal down in that lane.
It felt like a pillar satchel. Hold that for a second, because there's the all-in! But the slingshot back will not claim the kill. As Tally buffers his HP just enough with an ultimate as 3 members come calling. He's going to crash the wave in. He's going to sidestep the Sonic Wave. Now a Hex Slash here from Aladoric, who's probably quite grateful that the Zenith Blade didn't connect. Or is he? Because now the fight continues. And it is going to be Babip hunting down a Trundle. But we might just be getting a little bit too excited for what it is.
Yeah. But I mean, like, whilst that gank in the mid lane, like, it was a decent one, you know, it's still, you know, look at the lane in mid right now. Look at the state of it. CS lead for Tally. He's burnt the teleport to come back to lane, and Incursio has to get a gank to reset. Like, Tally would be criminal to die here, right? I mean, this is just a chunk to help Incursio get a reset, but Tally will be able to freeze the wave. Or not. He's going to push it. But again, even so, even pushing this, Incursio is going to lose a whole bunch. And it's going to get worse because scaling, like, he's staying. He cut. He's staying. This is absolutely going to get punished.
Well, it's a 30 CS lead now. I don't think it gets much better than that if you talk about laning stats. We know this guy's a very proficient melee assassin. He loves to punch on, but a state like this, it feels criminal. You said it before. 3 members coming to try and clear his lane, trying to full start hard reset, and he's stuck around.
But it's like, this isn't Incursio's fault. As in, he's not playing bad, right? It's just the matchup that he picked. And like, the only kind of, I guess, thing that you could pin on him is like, this is a matchup they opted for, right? Like, and now we're seeing the pressure that they have in mid lane just being used everywhere else. Because if you lose the middle of the map this hard, and by what I mean by lose, is if you have no pressure in lane and you're just eating waves under turret, you then don't have any river control. Look at those pinks. Look at the wards on the Raptor camp. I mean, you don't have any control whatsoever, and you're playing a guessing game in the dark. And eventually, you're going to lose out in that game.
I mean, it really was a beautiful world tour from Peace there, with all the vision unlocked. The top half of the map belonged to them, so even if Sybil is farming up camps, can't do much to protect him.
I mean, but that's not the way you want to be playing Lee Sin either, right? Like, you want to play Lee Sin as a, I guess, disruptive-esque type jungler. Like, you want to be fighting for camps. You want to be skirmishing for 2v2s. You don't want to just be farming your own jungle, playing for what, your level 6, level 7, level 8 power spike, right, with your Iron Wisp. Like, that's not how you generate leads with Lee Sin. But unfortunately, that's how he has to play the game. And that's just a product of how the early games played out and what Peace have done on the map. Like, look at the control that they have everywhere. It's not that Sybil can't... I was going to... Yeah.
You see Tally laughing, the camera's like, hey boys, this is not where I want to be.
I was just saying, I've seen this happen in solo queue before, and let me just say, I reported the mid laner that did that. So Tally's just absolutely running 1v3. Obviously, no fault of his own there because we are respecters of the Summoner's Code.
Well, we'll have to see what this actually means, if it's going to be a chrono break, or actually what the end product of it all was, whether or not maybe some of his equipment has failed him. But as it stands so far, let's quickly touch on this mid-jungle matchup, right? You said how volatile it can be. You could talk about how it caters to both teams' play style. Mid lane in isolation is very tough as it is. You add in Babip to the mix, who's already 2-0 in Italy. He's best champion, as you coined it. I mean, it doesn't get any better for Peace.
No, it doesn't. And, I mean, the man on the screen here, Tally, I mean, Babip now, but he's on the Renekton. Like, he's a top laner. Tally's a through-and-through top laner. And he's got the bread and butter matchup, he's got the counter pick, and he's got a top lane champion in the mid lane. So, I like, if you're Peace, you're in the driver's seat, you're smiling, like, he's got that cheeky grin. He's got the posture diff. He's wearing the blue flannel. I feel like this is becoming very Tally-esque, right? This is what we expect, and Tally's been allowed to walk away from that 3-man.
Always hate it when your mouse fails you. But gentleman's agreement, that's been respected. He's back into the fold of things and ready to look to try and abuse his lead that much further. Get to see how does this play out, though, because, I mean, you know, you talk about Yone, quickly interrupt you, Juice.
Right.
I'm just very keen to see how this Yone can actually translate, because, you know, we saw the Yasuo struggle in laning phase and potentially become a menace come team fights. Is this kind of the whole idea that you think Legacy will be banking on?
I mean, you're banking on, obviously, the wombo combo that you have, right? Like, the Trundle level 6, the Ziggs bomb, you know, all the pieces need to hit, and then you can, ooh, nice damage, but you can start to see, you know, where Legacy's team comp really thrives. But again, you know, all the pieces can hit, but if you're too far behind, sorry, I'm seeing.
Hang on a minute. Flashes are being burned.
No!
Kick the foe! He can't get the Sonic Wave X. Oh no! What on earth was that? No, no, no. He's got 1 kill, and then Winter has denied himself to the turret, and Appy is laughing. And Peace are laughing now as they find a kill in the mid lane too, Juice. What on earth?
There's genuinely nothing for me to say there, right? Like, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say on that passage of play?
Oh, no.
That is just unfortunate gaming. And we've all been there. We've all had those moments when playing League of Legends. You got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off. You see what he was trying to do. A for effort, F for execution. And maybe we'll get some Fs in the chat for that one.
Yeah, it certainly feels like you need to pay your respects to that one, because
Yeah.
might that be the moment that kind of defines their split? Might that be the moment that dismisses them from making that final playoff spot? Is this a case of the pressure perhaps being a little bit too much with the game state as it is? Feeling that they need to make something happen here.
Oh, we've even gone the replay. I mean, why not? But yeah. So I guess what Sybil could have done better there, if you want to be critical of that, use the kick to guarantee the leasing queue. I mean, the leasing queue is pretty much guaranteed anyway, but the kick would definitely guarantee it because you can't move. So Violet might be caught here though. This could be a
Fantastic arcane shift away
Yeah.
from that satchel charge. The bot lane do have Legacy. I mean, we saw it before. If you do get locked to the spot above it, very hard to escape, even if Flash is available. And they're going to pay the ultimate price here. Look at try and full stack kill on towards Violet. Peace are just going to sneak away a second dragon.
then Sybil might be in a bit of trouble maybe.
Yeah, Melg might be the one to receive the pain and punishment now. Sybil's jumped in, baited out a support player. And Babip, I mean, this is another game where the jungle player is well and truly accelerated.
Yeah, he's playing his best champion and he's having a field day at the moment. And I mean, the top lane matchup that was meant to lose, being Appy, is actually not even. He's ahead. Like, he's got the Eclipse. Lucian's opting in for the Eclipse as well, but he's nowhere near. Mid lane turret's gone down too, just across the board. 4k gold lead. Summoner's Rift is just Peace's playground right now. And I mean, Lee Sin, Sybil, is looking to make a play topside, maybe recover some of the losses that he contributed to top side of the map. Appy has no flash.
Nobody has a flash here in this exchange.
Deep TP, if we look at Incursio and Winterer.
Yeah, this is Legacy's looking to try and force their heads.
Oh.
He hit the fate, sealed him up, just sealed his own fate. He's going to fall on down as Peace turn around and smack him to the head. It's Violet who picks up his first kill of the game. Now looking for a double kill, but Babip will deny it and hit 5-0. Telly's going to rock up to the fight with a TP and say, this is how you TP in mid lane impact. And now 13 minutes in, that is a huge 7,000 gold lead.
Yeah, it just feels like all the fundamentals that Legacy have kind of gone through all year have just gone out of the window, right? You know, like the fundamental of play to where your teammates are. Sybil's farming topside camps and they're teleporting bot side to make a play without their jungler, right? It's so disjointed, so disconnected. And I will say, this is a contribution of how Peace have played the early game, right? In the sense that they've made the game this way. They've made the game feel so suffocating that Legacy need to make these plays. And I mean, once you miss this, once you whiff that, there's absolutely no way that you're going to win. So it is a very tough ask right now. And I mean, for the rest of the game, because yeah, whatever, if you want to consider scaling a thing, if you want to talk about the realm of scaling, it's a 7k gold lead of 14 minutes. I mean, scaling is not even in the question at this point, or in the equation rather. And Winter is just dead again.
Crazy. And it feels like the duality of playing Lucian top, right? You either pop off and single-handedly dominate that lane, or you find yourself in a spot above it like this where you are just 0-4 out of the mix. And your team isn't able to bail you out, because now Aladoric once again is looking for pain and punishment. Opens up with a stun, follows up with the ultimate, locks in place 2, and then they might look to try and find 3 as a result. They're going to find a trade back as they do remove Aladoric. The spear goes AWOL, but it doesn't matter because they found themselves 2. And Melg lucky to be alive. But Peace are just finding success across the board here.
Yeah, I mean, they just have control of every part of Summoner's Rift, every objective, every jungle camp, every single fight. There's a kill that gets traded back, but I mean, it's not a bounty. It's not gaining you anything. It's an uphill battle from here, because I mean, this is going to balloon out to what would be a 10k gold lead very shortly, right? They're going to pick up the second Rift Herald. They're going to drop it, get even more gold from what is going to be a side lane turret, either top side, maybe even bot side, when Ezreal pushes out to the next tier. So again, this could quite easily balloon to 10,000 gold pre-20 minutes, Skimmy.
It's a big shop as well, as we just saw a huge injection of items is picked up there by Babip in particular. Well on his way now to getting that Zonia's complete. Going to be even harder as a result to shut this cat down, who's got himself a Dark Seal. Why wouldn't you? You know, sitting at a scoreline like this, you'd be feeling pretty confident about your chances of accelerating this lead even further, and maybe even, you know, hitting one spear, and that pretty much being lights out. And I suppose whilst we're getting carried away here, I'm very excited for the state of the game that Peace have found themselves in 15 minutes. You know, You talk about the blanket argument of scaling. Is there more to it than that for Legacy?
I wish, Kimmy. I wish. This is, you know what this is? I got the perfect image and word to summarize this game at the moment. Do you want it?
Hit me.
Pain.
Pain's
It's
an
pain.
F. Pain and F in chat. Because that is what we are getting delivered here. Served up a treat right now is... Well, Peace just really don't care at this point. They are diving to inhibitors. They've
16.
got a Rift Herald that is just ending the game on its own, being a 6th participating member. And Peace, forget about the laning phase. The group up as 5 and say we'll do whatever you want, and I don't think you can answer back.
Yeah, and so what is it now? It's a 10k gold lead at 16, so they've done one better, Skimmy. They've actually put the foot on the gas and really just accelerated this. Baron spawns in 3 minutes. Dragon's going to be up shortly as well, so we actually might, and to Legacy's kind of relief, see a little bit of a stalemate now. It will be maybe a stalemate at 10k gold. Get the Dragon, pick up some waves of farm, but I mean, you know, once that 2 minutes and 50 seconds rolls around, you best believe Legacy are going to be on that Baron buff. Sorry, Legacy, Peace.
Well, that feels pretty much like the conclusion of how this game should go, right? Wait for the Baron, pick that up, and then run it down to end this game once and for all. And I wonder if this is a bit of a treat of things to come for Peace. You know, you talk about these players having individual strength and, you know, the opportunities and skills that they desire and possess, but chemistry was a conversation we had before, but it feels like this is a team that, you know, have truly had a week to play and prepare to their minds.
It's a very big statement game, right? I mean, this is arguably the cleanest that we've seen Peace look all year. And it's not against an opposition that's, you know, 119, 118, whatever it is. Like, they've picked up, they're playing, Legacy's playing for playoffs. Like, this is the game that, if they win, you could almost pencil them in for the 5th position. So to really dismantle Legacy the way that you have so far in this early game, I mean, do you start to wonder, like, is this what Midlord says? Is this the strongest roster? You know, we've heard it week upon week upon week, but the proof is really only ever in the pudding.
Now, it's crazy to think, looking at this performance, that Peace in the head-to-heads have never beaten them this split, right? 0-2. Their first game in week 3 was quite cleose, but the second game, it was a convincing 13k gold lead by Legacy. So I suppose when pressure comes to shove, it clearly shows that Peace are ready to run that gauntlet.
They're not even waiting for the Baron. They'll just take every single standing turret. This time the tier 2 is the next one to fall, or maybe on this next minion wave. Trying to be sneaky beaky here, Aladoric.
And for me, crazy, is there a world in which Legacy can do the wombo combo? We saw them play a composition like this before into Pentanet, right? Seraphine, Rel, Yone. It was a bit of a wombo combo. They managed to claw it back from 6k down. Do you see an angle on which Legacy with this 5-man setup can do something kind of similar?
Yes. Yes. Gimme. And this is not how.
Well,
This is not how you close that gold deficit and gold lead. Because you potentially lose either a turret top side of the map, or you fall back to the Baron. But I mean, why not? When in Rome. When in Rome, just take it all.
well, try to be optimistic there. Find a position, a way for Legacy fans to continue hope. Feels painful, it really does.
That bot turret's nearly gone down too. We just kind of focused on top side. Tally had a field day on that turret, so across the board now.
In what, 6 turrets to 1, 3k gold leads in all the positions that matter. Big sizable XP leads as well. 1 level, perhaps even 2 levels, quite honestly. As you're seeing here, Babip is ahead of every single member of Legacy. So from the junk position is well and truly looking to be the player that delivered.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to run the numbers. We'll have to go to our people talk to their people and still figure out who delivered. But I dare say Babip's name's in the mix. And it's just...
Aladoric, his cooldown for this ultimate is never up for more than 10 seconds. He's throwing it offbeat.
I mean, it's just... Nowhere on Summoner's Rift is safe. And the only place that is safe is your inhibitor turret. But even then, like, it's just going to die. And I mean, Sybil might look for a play here. Okay.
Goes for the kick, going onto Violet. Bomb comes out, going to get sidestepped from. No CC to follow things up as the pillar looks to try and deny Tally on the back line. He's got a Dominus ramping and just collapses on through. Buff is the fate seal. The ultimate doesn't matter because you're dead and gone. 3 members are down. It's a double for Babbitt. 1 away from double digits. 2 members for Legacy looking to try and defend their base. The respawn time is 30 seconds and counting. But it feels like Peace are just putting a stamp on the victory.
Yeah, and they might actually just end here on this minion wave. Lucian doesn't have very great wave clear. Culling is not up either, so they're going to have a rough time putting that one down. Pillar trying to stall the minions, but I think they've done it, Skimmy.
It looks to be the case here, doesn't it? This is a crazy situation. Both turrets are gone, and that might be all she wrote here. That might be Legacy kicked out of playoffs in the second half of this year. This might be Peace keeping the dream alive. They're going to wait for them to respawn and take them down one more time, but the Nexus is exposed. And a victory is there in a convincing fashion for Peace.
Very convincing, and I mean, that man on your screen there had a very, very big performance. Yeah, probably the best performance that we've seen in a Peace shirt from Babip. So a little bit of confidence coming into the playoffs, and of course they're not locked, but yeah, not much to break down there, Skimmy, right? I mean,
I think
more or
actually,
less the
James,
game. Sorry?
Well, I will add, I think that is the shortest game of the entire split. I think the record we had before was 23 minutes. I think that was, what, 21? So what a time to hit peak form if you need to, right, Mac?
I think I saw that was 21:39 to be exact. But look, I'm pretty blind. I need my glasses. I don't even know if my glasses were on, so I could be completely wrong. However, you stole my point. I was going to say I think that is the shortest game of the split, so good job, Skimmy. You've stolen that one. But what a damn game that was. Peace really putting on a performance that we've been expecting from them all season. Legacy making a few rough decisions, a couple of missed abilities, and then things just went south very quickly.
This
well,
is
they
criminal.
have to show it again.
It's so
Appy played
criminal,
that
isn't it?
perfectly, you know?
Yeah, Appy played that so well, dude. Appy's an absolute turbo smurfer. He's a Giga Smurf.
Giga Smurf. Goomba stomping in the top lane.
He's a 1 terabyte smurfer.
Oh, why 1 terabyte?
I don't know. That's all I thought about.
Half of a 2 terabyte hard drive. Maybe even a full 1 terabyte hard drive.
What about a 1 petabyte play? We're getting into really dangerous territory then.
The what byte?
A petabyte.
What is that?
It's even bigger than a terabyte.
Oh, is that like 1,000 terabytes?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
You know
now, this game was something. It was extremely one-sided. It's led us into the chaos of talking about what 1,000 terabytes could or could not be, and it just felt like it wasn't too much coming out of Legacy, which is really sad for them because now there is no chance for them to make playoffs after that game because Peace are 2 wins ahead of them. So that means that there is just absolutely no world in which Legacy can make it. And it may even be hard for there to be a tie. You know, Gravitas, we still need to watch their game next, but that's pretty much how all of these things are starting to play out. But if Peace play like they did today in tomorrow's match, then they should be A-okay to finally be locked in to that 5th position. So they really needed this one today, and they played like they needed it too, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, across the board, like it was just a good team performance from Peace. But then obviously you can highlight some individuals who had spectacular performances. But I mean, it kind of just felt like all the wheels were ticking along together, and it was really just a Peace train all aboard. We're stopping at playoffs. I'm not going to go as far ahead and say, yeah, Peace are back, Peace are going to make the grand final, it's going to be a Peace PGG or whatever mix you want to say. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely good to see them playing this way again.
Yeah, you know, going up against Legacy, obviously not the toughest of the competition here in the regular season. So with this lineup, let's see, you know, if they do make playoffs, what they can bring to the table. However, everyone from Peace just playing out of their mind there. You know, you had Aladoric even just going around setting everything up. So good to see Aladoric back as well as Babip. And look, we do have Nat as well, who we always love to see. Now, Nat, please come, let me know what you thought of that game.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, Peace stepped up to the plate. This is when they needed it the most, and they're absolutely delivering. So I think they honestly really well deserved that win. 100% very well deserved, very well earned from, I guess, all the trials and tribulations they've gone through this split so far.
Definitely. Now, who do you have down on the sidelines for the winners interview?
I'm going to be having a quick chat to Violet, which I'm very excited about. Congratulations on the win. How do you feel? You guys are one step closer to securing that play-in spot.
Thank you. I personally, I'm feeling like very happy because, yeah, like playing with this roster, I'm just super excited to be playing with like all the boys again. And I mean, we are all very confident going into this game because, like, we know we're all very good stage players and the scrims have been going really well. So
yeah, that's good to hear. You know, when I was talking to Babbitt before the game, he said he feels that Peace is coming closer to their final form. Do you agree with that, or do you think maybe this is the final form for Peace?
nah, I in like the past like week or two, I feel like we've been like improving a lot, like with every scrim set we play. So I pretty sure by the time playoffs come, we'll be the best team.
Now, this game that we just saw you guys play, it was absolute clinical performance. You guys did everything pretty much to a T, from dragons to CS, everything was in your favor. I guess, how did it feel going through that? Like, I want you to walk me through that game kind of from your perspective. And if you found anything that maybe we didn't see that you guys thought didn't really go your way.
I mean, I think the only mistake for me individually was when I died first blood. That was pretty like troll for me to Ian when we had no vision of the enemy jungler. But I think honestly everything else went like perfectly. I don't think we made any like major mistakes besides like individual mistakes, but besides that, like, I believe our macro was clean that game, so it was like a very easy and quick win.
What do you think is the key to that? Why is it now your games are just looking so perfect?
In scrims, we've just been tunnel visioning on our macro, because individually, obviously, like, we're not like worse compared to any of the players in the league. So like most of our mistakes are like in the mid game macro, how we move across the map and how we set up to plays. So like we just focus on that in scrims, and it's finally paying off on stage. So
it definitely is. It's looking amazing for you guys. Last question before I do let you go is that, you know, we're seeing again another roster change for you guys. So how is, I guess, the communication and the shot calling with this team dynamic?
It's pretty easy actually. I think Babip and Tally have played together before, like last year on Legacy. It's like mid jungle wise, I think they're like already pretty solid and up there. And I've played with Aldork for like, we've been doing for like over a year and a half. So like playing with them in the bot lane is just like easy. Like we don't need to communicate to each other often. We kind of just know what to expect from one another, and we're just able to like turbo the game that way.
It's like I said, I keep saying it, but you guys, it's working out for you. Whatever you're doing, it's looking perfect. And thank you so much for giving me a little bit of insight to that, and congratulations again on the win.
Thank you very much.
Good to hear from your boy Violet yet again. This time not dropping any expletives in terms of the low, and at least being very positive. So good to see that he's cleaning up the interviews there a little bit. However, we do have to talk about the DoorDash player that delivered. And there could have been a few different people to get this one, but we've given it to Babip for a spectacular performance there in the jungle. 10-0 and 5. Finally get to play a good game of Nidalee, and it looked pretty damn good, didn't it? 78% kill participation, just jumping around the map, setting up a lot of those kills and setting up Peace for success, Jubes.
Yeah, can't place wards though because I'm doing too much damage and killing too many things. You know what I mean? It's just the classic, nah, but I could buy my blasting wand or I could buy a pink ward, and the blasting wand for sure is way better. He probably had 4 items on each base, but Rusty's kicking up a stink. You know, watching that one.
It felt a bit cinematic though, didn't it? Right, like he had his best performance of the split on his best champion up against his old organization that went to Worlds. So it's like it's all just come together so beautifully at the right time, like one of those 1 in a million chance kind of things.
I didn't even think about one of those, you know? I didn't even think about that being a situation. I still need this graphic updated production. I can't see Mac Jam on it yet. I've seen more Mac Jams in chat than Rat or Cat Jams lately. That's all I'm saying. I'm just going to put that one out there. However, we do have a different song of the day today. It is Magic by Day 1. And we do have places to be in terms of another game. Mammoth and Gravitas coming up just after this break. Ladies and gents, don't go too far because this one should be a banger.
Legacy's looking to try and force their hand. He hit the fate, sealed him up, just sealed his own fate. He's just going to fall on down as Peach turn around and smack him to the head. It's Violet who picks up his first kill of the game. Now looking for a double kill, but Babbitt will deny. The kick, going on to Violet. Bomb comes out, going to get side steps from. No CC to follow things.